In the fall of 2019, Josh Mendel was 26, living in Phoenix, and broke. He just quit a warehouse job after a back injury and was struggling to pay rent. So when he got a call from a man named Howard Lane offering a short-term, high-paying gig, $1,200 for 4 nights, he didn't ask too many questions. The job was simple: house sit a rural property outside Sedona. No pets, no mail, just stay overnight, make sure no one breaks in. Howard said the house belonged to his late brother and they were settling the estate. The only condition: Josh had to stay inside the house between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. He could roam the property during the day, but not leave at night. Howard insisted on this, citing break-ins in the area. He even said, "Don't open the door for anyone, not even the cops. If there's a problem, call me." Josh found it weird, but not weird enough to turn down $1,200. He drove up the next day with a backpack and a few groceries. The house was 1 story, tucked into the pines, no neighbors in sight. It was clean, slightly dated, and fully stocked. On the counter next to the keys was a note in neat handwriting: "Do not go into the basement." Josh laughed when he read the note. Don't go into the basement? Classic horror movie stuff. He figured it was a joke, or maybe there was mold or asbestos down there. Either way, he didn't care. He wasn't planning to explore. The first night was uneventful. He watched Netflix, made pasta, and texted his sister. Around 11 p.m., the house got so quiet he could hear his own heartbeat, but it wasn't spooky. Just remote. Dead quiet. At 2:13 a.m., he woke up to a sound. Not a crash or a scream, just a faint click. He sat up in the living room, blinking. The sound had come from the back hallway near the door that led to the basement. He stayed still, listening. Nothing. He got up, padded down the hall, and put his ear to the basement door. Still nothing. He tried the doorknob. Locked. The next morning, he checked the lock again, solid deadbolt. No keyhole on his side. Weird, but whatever. He called Howard just to check in. Howard picked up right away. "Everything good?" he asked. "Yeah," Josh said. "Heard a weird noise by the basement. Not a big deal." There was a pause. Then Howard said, "Okay. Just remember the rules." Josh chuckled. "You're really serious about that basement, huh?" Howard didn't laugh. "You're doing great, Josh. 3 more nights." Then he hung up. Josh tried to shake the weird feeling. He told himself the noise was just the house settling, or maybe a raccoon outside. He played video games most of the day, explored the woods a bit, and cooked himself a lazy dinner. But as the sun went down, he felt it again, that pressure in the chest, like something was off. At 9 p.m. sharp, he locked all the doors and settled into the living room with his phone. The place was dead silent again, not even wind in the trees. At 1:04 a.m. it happened again. Click. Same exact sound, same exact spot. A mechanical click, like a door latch being undone. Josh froze. He crept down the hallway in his socks, heart thudding. He didn't get too close this time, just far enough to see the basement door. Still shut. No light coming from the crack at the bottom. He backed off and slept on the couch with the TV on low. The next morning, curiosity got the better of him. He walked around to the side of the house looking for basement windows. There were none. No vents, no grates, nothing. Just smooth concrete and pine needles. That's when he noticed something else. Footprints. In the soft dirt under the kitchen window, just one set. Bare feet. Pointed toward the house. The prints weren't there the day before. He was sure of it. That night, Josh triple-checked the doors and windows. He even wedged a chair under the basement doorknob. He told himself the footprints could have been old, but that didn't explain why they pointed in, or why they hadn't been smudged by wind or squirrels or something. He kept the lights on and stayed up past 2 a.m. Nothing happened. Just silence. But at 3:27 a.m., as he was dozing off, he heard it. Not a click. Breathing. It was faint, slow, and steady, coming from behind the basement door. Josh sat there, paralyzed. He could hear the chair gently creaking where it leaned against the knob, like something on the other side was leaning back. Inhale. Exhale. He didn't move until the first blue light of morning touched the curtains. When he finally crept down the hall again at 7 a.m., the house was silent. The chair was still in place. The door was still closed. Josh called Howard. This time, it rang 6 times before he picked up. "Did someone stay in this house before me?" Josh asked, trying to sound casual. Pause. "Why?" Josh hesitated. "I think someone might still be here." Another pause. Then Howard said, "Josh, you're safe. You followed the rules, right?" Josh stared at the basement door from the other side of the house. "Yeah." "Good. Don't open it. Don't engage. 2 more nights. You're doing fine." Then he hung up again. Josh didn't sleep at all the next night. He kept the kitchen knife by his side and watched the hallway like a soldier in a trench. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore, it was dense, like something was pressing down on the house. At 12:41 a.m., there was a new sound. Scraping. Not from the basement door this time, from beneath the floorboards. Slow, dragging scrapes like someone was crawling directly under the living room. Josh backed into the kitchen, hand on the counter, pulse racing. He didn't even want to look at the basement door. Then he heard footsteps. Upstairs. In the house. That broke him. He bolted to the front door, keys in hand, ready to run, screw the money. But when he twisted the knob and yanked, the door didn't move. It was locked from the outside. Josh tried the back door. Same thing. Windows? Nailed shut. Every exit was either sealed or bolted from the outside. He was locked in. He called Howard again, straight to voicemail. He tried twice more, pacing the room, knife still in hand. Then he stopped and noticed something new. The note on the counter. The one that had said, "Do not go into the basement." It was gone. In its place was a folded piece of lined notebook paper. He opened it with shaking hands. It said, "Do not let it hear you panic." Panic was setting in. Josh's mind raced. He had to get out. He couldn't stay in the house. Not after everything that had happened. He didn't care about the money anymore. He just needed to survive. The clock on the wall read 3:12 a.m. There was no sign of the breathing, the scraping, or the footsteps, just the terrible stillness of the house. Josh moved from room to room, checking everything, every closet, every window. Nothing had changed. Then, as he passed the basement door one last time, he heard it. A voice, soft but clear, right on the other side of the door. Josh. His heart froze. He knew he should run. He knew he should leave. But he couldn't move. The voice was so familiar, so calm. He had heard it somewhere before, and then it hit him. It was Howard's voice. Josh. He reached for the doorknob without thinking. The moment his fingers brushed it, it turned. The door creaked open on its own. Inside, the basement was pitch black, but there was something there. The air smelled thick, like mold and rust. And in the middle of the room, just out of reach of the doorframe, was a figure. It was Howard. His body was wrong. His face was pale, eyes wide and unblinking, and his limbs twisted in unnatural angles as though he had been folded into himself, locked in place. "You shouldn't have come," the figure whispered. Josh backed away, his breath ragged. He slammed the door shut, but the click of the lock was too soft. He ran to the phone again, dialing 911, but the line was dead. For what felt like hours, he hid in the living room, too afraid to move. But the house had gone quiet again, just like the first night. No scraping. No breathing. At sunrise, he didn't hesitate. He smashed the front window with the kitchen knife, climbed out, and ran through the woods to the nearest highway. When the police arrived to check the house, they found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no body, no Howard. Just an empty old house. The only clue was the note in the kitchen. It read, "Don't ever open the basement door." Josh left town shortly after. No one really believed his story. Maybe it was the stress. Maybe he just needed the money too badly. But he never went back. And to this day, he doesn't talk about it. But sometimes when he's alone at night, he hears that same soft voice again. "Josh,